Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Maureen with Life Starts at Retirement. As many of you know, I'm now off on my amazing year-long adventure to see 29 different countries in that year. And while I'm gone, I've arranged some amazing, outstanding guest hosts to provide you ways to make your retirement even more remarkable. And today we have something extra special for you. A guest host who's here to talk about something truly inspiring, but what I would say is reverent, a really very important topic called the 4 pillars of an amazing legacy. So Martin Hurlburt shares these 4 pillars with us today, and I love how he says, do you want to leave a mess or memories? So without further ado, let's dive in and explore how you can leave behind something extraordinary.
Hi, my name is Martin Hurlburt. I am excited to be a guest host on the Life Starts at Retirement podcast. Today, we're going to discuss the 4 pillars to create an amazing life legacy. We'll discuss how your family and loved ones will benefit, but more importantly, how it can help you get more out of your golden years. Again, my name is Martin Hurlburt. I'm a certified retirement counselor, and I've helped many people prepare for and enjoy a successful retirement. Now, chances are, if you're hearing this video, you are not dead yet. So congratulations on making it this far. But unfortunately, all of us will pass away eventually. And when we do, it's up to us to decide in advance whether we want to leave behind memories or a mess for our families. Let me tell you the story of Margaret. She was in her late 60s, had been retired for a few years, and she was just loving life. It was really good for her. She spent time with the grandkids, worked in the garden, and took a lot of trips with her husband. She was extremely happy. But there was something that was lacking. You see, when her parents passed away, they had nothing in place. Nothing had been planned out, no wills, trust, or anything. So it took her and her brother months to go through all the estate planning and financial mess that had been left behind. It was stressful and uncomfortable for both of them. She did not want that to happen to her kids. So she decided to apply these 4 pillars I'm about to share with you. Now, when she was done, she says that she felt this enormous sense of relief, like this burden had been lifted from her shoulders. She was actually able to enjoy life even more now that she'd taken care of these issues. According to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Data, more than half of us have done nothing for our legacy planning. There's nothing in place, despite the fact that those who do report much lower levels of anxiety. You see, planning for the end helps us get more out of now. There's actually, I think, 4 very distinct benefits that we all get by creating proactively our own legacy. The first benefit to an amazing legacy is it encourages thoughtful living. In other words, it helps you to determine who are the people and the causes you care most about. And then hopefully you spend more time with those people and working in those causes. The second benefit is it reduces stress and anxiety for both you and your loved ones. You get to decide in advance what happens. The third benefit is somewhat related. It gives you clarity and control. One of the biggest things that people tell me when they're retired is they want to maintain control over their lives. Well, when you do the kind of planning work we're about to discuss, it helps you do just that. And then the fourth benefit to an amazing legacy for you is it facilitates family communication. You know, people want to have this discussion, but it's a little bit uncomfortable for some. It may be a little awkward, but going through this process will help that come out and everyone will feel better once it's taken place. So let's now go over the 4 pillars of your amazing legacy. The first one, most important of all, is your life story. Your adult children, they want to capture your life story. They want to know your life experiences, the lessons. They want to know about the ups and downs, the triumphs and the challenges. They want to know about your traditions and beliefs. It is by far the most valuable thing you can do for your family is to share with them your life story. You see, my grandparents died in 1984 in Edinburgh, Scotland, when I was 18 years old. Now, luckily, my family and I were living in England at the time, so we were close by. And I have very fond memories of the times I spent with my grandparents. but I don't have their life story. I don't know about their childhood. I don't know about their young adulthood because they never captured it. But here's some good news. I'm going to give you a free tool to help you do just that. Go to storiesofretirement.com, click on the resource page, and there's a free download called Capture Your Story. Now, in it, there's about 250 questions broken down into different categories. For example, family history, your childhood, young adulthood. And I think my favorite section of all is the way things used to be versus the way they are now. You can have some fun with that one. I suggest you print out those questions, then set aside time every week to go through them. For example, you might say every Monday at 10 a.m., I'll spend 2 hours on this project. And you go through the questions, they will prompt your memories, and you simply say whatever comes to mind. Doing this, okay, capturing and passing on your life story is by far the most important part of your amazing legacy. The second part of your amazing legacy is to write out in advance your wishes and desires. What do you want to have happen in certain circumstances? Now, for example, there may come a time when you're on life support, doctors say there's no chance of recovery. Don't force your adult children to decide when they turn that machine off. That's something you can decide in advance. Doing this reduces stress for both you and your family. Another important part of number two, or pillar number two, is to pre-plan your funeral. I suggest you go to 2 or 3 different funeral homes because prices can vary greatly. You may or may not prepay for it, but you should definitely pre-plan because the last thing you want your family doing is trying to make all those decisions for you just after you've passed away. They're mourning you. They should be celebrating your life. They should be gathering as a family and consoling each other and not worrying about all these details. The third part to your amazing legacy is items of sentimental value. Now, we all have them. And I'll give you an example. One of my clients is a retired widow. She has 2 children, 2 sons. The youngest one spent countless hours with her husband before he passed away, restoring a classic car. She wants the youngest son to get that car over and above his half of the inheritance. So, in other words, both sons will split things equally, but on top of that, the youngest son will get the car. That is her wish, her desire. She has every right to decide that. But if it's not in writing, it could cause problems because the oldest son might say, well, fine, you can have the car, but I want half the value, because I deserve that. The last thing you want is for your assets, things of sentimental value, especially, to tear your family apart and cause problems. So you have to decide in advance. Now, the fourth part, it is important, but it's the least important part, is overall estate planning. That is having things in place to distribute your assets, your bank accounts, your portfolios, real estate, whatever you have, to your family on your terms. You decide who gets what and how. If you don't do that, and we've all seen this before, right? It can cause all kinds of problems. Imagine having your family not talk to each other anymore, your adult children, because they're fighting over who knows what. So you decide in advance. Now, depending on where you live, the country and the state, your estate planning needs might be relatively simple or they could be quite complex. So I recommend that you seek out professional advice from someone in your area. Now, it could include a will, a living trust, powers of attorney, medical directives, and things like that. One of my clients, I helped her get all this stuff in place. And about 3 months later, she went to the doctor with some stomach pains. It turns out she needed emergency surgery to remove her large intestine. She spent the next 60 days in a coma. She didn't wake up at all. But because we had things in place, her children and I were able to manage her affairs according to her wishes until she recovered. Now, she's doing fine right now. She's traveling around the country and the world and enjoying life. But there's real power to having an estate plan in place. So those are the 4 pillars. Now, how do you do steps 2, 3, and 4? I'm going to share with you a tool that costs $10-20. It will help you do it. There's a bunch on Amazon, but it's end of life planning books. Here's one that's called I'm Dead, Now What? I really like this one. As you go through it, it has sections for your personal information, of course. It asks, where's your will? Where's your living trust? Where are your bank accounts? What kind of assets do you have? Do you have more than one home? Things like that. There's a section in here for your pets. How about that? What's their favorite food? What are their favorite treats? Imagine that when you check out, your family finds this book, or they know where it's at because you've told them, and they simply go through the book step by step. That will reduce their stress so much more and make sure things are done according to your wishes. Now, I'm going to end this presentation with a story from my days in the U.S. Army. What can Army officers training teach all of us about legacy planning? Well, my last 5 years in the Army, I helped to run the officer candidate program. That means I was kind of like the drill sergeant. I was the mean guy who yelled at people and made them crawl through mud. People often ask, well, Martin, why are you guys so mean? Do you have to be that way? Here's the purpose, because I'm not a mean guy, but we are trying to train these officers or future officers how to think clearly in combat. And combat is extremely stressful. So we tire them physically, we tire them mentally and emotionally. Then we give them assignments to accomplish and we watch their thought process. It's not so much whether or not they accomplish the mission, because we're going to give them obstacles. It's more about how do they think in those circumstances. Well, one of the challenges or obstacles we would give them is after, here's your assignment, go do this, you and your classmates. We would tell that class leader, hey, you know what? You're dead. Lay down in the grass. Don't say another word. And then we sit back and we watch. Can their classmates accomplish the mission? Do their classmates know what the mission even is? Do they know what the resources are and the obstacles? So has that leader clearly communicated what needs to happen? It's very similar with your family. One day you will check out. Does your family know what the mission is? Do they know what your goals are and your wishes? Do they know what the resources are and what needs to be done? Creating your amazing legacy by going through these 4 pillars will help make sure that happens. Thank you so much for listening. I'd love to hear a comment down below. Write in what you've done to create an amazing legacy. And please share this video with others. It's your life. It's your story. Take charge.
Thank you so much, Martin. Such amazing words. I really appreciate it. And viewers, stay tuned. I know Martin's going to be providing us with another guest host at some time in the future while I'm gone. Go ahead and make your retirement remarkable.